My name is Jennifer, and I am going to do a card reading. This is an oracle deck from, I think his name is Diego de Oxóssi. I hope I didn't butcher that, but from the African Gods Oracle. Love of this one is the messages from the guidebook. He just really like cuts to the chase, right? There's a lot of talk about deities, the Oshas, and I'm not that familiar. I'm just going to put that out there. Like I'm not totally and completely familiar with the deities, the African gods, but the messages in here are still very powerful. And I imagine more powerful the more familiar I get with the cards, or the more familiar you are with these deities. Anyway, so we're going to just get going. I'm going to do a 3-card pull. I'm going to take a page out of Chris Corsini's playbook and do a crystal. I have all my crystals here in front of me. Okay, so we'll say this one. I don't know if you can see it so well. This is my bloodstone. Really pretty with those blues, greys, and reds in them. Okay, that's for card 1. And then we have yellow jade. Okay, card 2. And tiger's eye is talking to me. Then we have tiger's eye. Okay, for card 3. Let's get to it. Oh man, the lighting in here. Yeah, she's pretty. Qué hermosa. Okay. All right. So messages today for people viewing. Try to have my decks fill out. Messages today for the people viewing. What they need to know right now, or messages of love. What they need to know in terms of messages of love, light, awareness, knowledge, and guidance. Call forth all divination. Call forth the divine within me, the divine outside of me. We are all connected. Okay, it's very tangible. Okay, so we've got card 1. That one flew out, so on supplement for you. Card 2 and card 3. And you'll have to forgive me if the audio is not great. I'm trying to be quiet because I'm in a library because I have a very hectic house, and this would not have gotten done there. Okay, so for the bloodstone, again, this one's really pretty, and my camera's just not doing it justice right now. I'm going to take some pretty pictures later. Okay, bloodstone. You know, I got it right here. Like, let me just take a picture. Sure. Like, who are you to stop me? Obviously, yeah, okay. I'm going to take a better picture later. Anyway, moving on. Here we go. Okay, so card 1. Alethea. Okay, and I just feel like I need to explain. So some of these cards, okay, so the cards, if they come out reversed, are just an intensified version of the message that they're telling you, that you're meant to receive. This deck has positive messages, and then this deck also has cards in the negative aspect. And negative aspect is really just shadow aspect, or consider it a shadow side or shadow self. And what we say, or what we mean when we say shadow, is the parts of you and the parts of your life that affect you, that you're reluctant, hesitant, and just completely straight up avoiding to look at, to acknowledge, to receive, to take care of, to accept into a wholeness of yourself. Okay, so the message there. So for Alafia, the top message is a chaotic life is a result of chaotic choices. So just this card's really big on personal responsibility. Okay. So if you don't like your life and the way it is, it's time to sit and realize and acknowledge the choices that you made that made those things happen. Okay. Because life doesn't happen to us, life happens for us. And when it comes to our liking or disliking our life, we need to stop and see what the lessons are in that. And the lessons for a disliking our life, like when we dislike our life, the lessons are, what could we have done different? What could we have done better? What are the patterns I'm repeating that keep leading me into this dislikable life, right? Okay. Here we go. Alafia. Or Alafia. I would love for someone to like ping me and just tell me like, this is how you pronounce all of these names. This is what they mean. I would love to give the respect and the dedication that this duck definitely deserves. I am what I can when I can. So I'm just going to put that out there. Okay. All right. So if you want to look this up, the regent Orishas, so the Orishas are the gods that are over this card. So Alafia, and I believe, from my understanding, I believe Alafia isn't a deity, isn't a person or a god or a goddess. Alafia is a concept, and the concept basically being that the chaotic life is from chaotic choices, right? And the regent Orishas are the gods or goddesses that kind of rule over this concept. And that's Orunmila and Eshu. So Orunmila, Orunmila, and Eshu, Eshu, if you want to look that up. Keywords here are, and I want to also say, take what resonates with you and leave the rest. Maybe it doesn't need to resonate with you right now, and come back to this video later and remember the card that you picked. And it probably will resonate with you then too. Okay. So fanciful and utopian, indecisive, lives in affliction, fears losing everything and everyone. And decisions made in those fears, decisions made in these like naive utopian ideas and hopes, being indecisive and just not making a choice or a decision at all. Just like a life of affliction and pain and struggle and strife. Like this is back in a year, right? Because it's like, all right, this is your wake up call. This is time for you to start like owning up to your personal responsibility in the life that you have manifested and created for yourself. Okay, so negative influence of Odu Alafia brings constant affliction in face of the apparent chaos of the outside world, which is reflected inwardly and, even in the simplest situations, brings difficulty in making choices and decisions. The universe is open in front of you, full of possibilities and alternatives, and precisely for this reason, deciding to follow a single path by giving up other options tortures your soul, right? So you're always wondering, like, what if? Like, you're stagnant, you're frozen in indecisiveness. You see all these options before you, and you don't know which one's going to be best, even though one might be tugging you toward, like, a desire, and then another one might be saying like, oh, that's familiar, let me go over there. You're still like in strife. You're still in struggle and contemplation and anxiety and stagnation because you're too afraid to move. You're too afraid to make a decision. Even if you have a clear view of everything that's in front of you and all of your options, the indecisiveness is what's killing you. So the constant fear of hurting and losing people, opportunities, and yourself ends up causing stagnation, preventing you from leaving the dream world and acting to get your plans and goals off the page. And bless his heart. So Diego, the way he wrote these, and he's, I believe he's Argentinian. Brazil. Yeah, I can't remember. Anyway, he's Latino, and his first language is, I think, some form of Spanish. But the way it's written here in English for me, my poor soul of one spoken language, is like he's like talking to you, right? Like he's not just talking to you, he's talking to your soul, your higher self. He's talking to the divine within. Okay. It says, I know in today's world where it seems that everyone thinks solely and exclusively about themselves, it becomes difficult to balance your personal desires with those of people around you in an attempt to respect and value their ambitions and dreams. Even though a key aspect in building your self-esteem is realizing that despite everything, your opinions and desires are also important and can always be valued and sought without prejudicing the people you love and care for. So this is saying like sometimes that stagnation, that anxiety comes from worrying too much about other people and not just taking care of yourself, right? Like you've got like 5 choices ahead of you, 5 different paths to take, and 2 of them might hurt somebody's feelings, or someone might think ugly things about me, right? Like if I go down that way and believe those things and feel that way and like feel into what feels right for me, it's going to start offending other people. And so that's like bothering you a little bit, and that keeps you from that path that might be great for you. Still, it can be difficult to rationalize feelings when you seem to live in the eye of the hurricane. Okay, right? So like you've got all this chaos because you're living in the chaos from previous decisions or previous indecisiveness. And now you've got like these new paths setting up for you, these new choices setting up in front of you, and you're still in this chaos of making the wrong choice before or not making a choice at all. And now you've got the chaos of trying to make the right choice, again, and being too worried about other people while you do it. So whether at work, in friendships, or in love relationships, it's time to strengthen existing bonds and establish new bonds of trust and loyalty that will soothe your heart. And let me just say, sometimes those bonds of trust and loyalty in that new relationship needs to be with yourself and not with other people, not with other things, and not with other ideas. And sometimes it's just important to have that relationship with yourself. I'm trying to feel, I think for some of you, a lot of you, this is going to be more toward like love and work, I feel like. Okay, but let's move on. People come and go in our lives. Nothing in the world is permanent or immutable. However, living in fear only causes anguish. Just be careful. For choosing to view the world from a positive place, you often also choose to ignore the malice of the world. This ends up hurting and frustrating you when you're forced to face situations where others' motivations aren't as sweet as you thought. Right? So going into the world naively, thinking that it's all going to always be rainbows and unicorns, as much as you might want to manifest that and believe in that and think like, if I just believe it and I think it and I feel it, it'll happen, it'll be true. But that is that is denying and dismissing the realities of other people's journey and the realities of the world. And by dismissing that and trying to ignore it and choosing to think happy thoughts instead, like, it's equally damaging to not accept the dark parts of yourself into your whole being, as it is equally damaging to not accept and understand that there are dark parts of the world out there. Okay. And by doing that, you don't know when to expect or don't know how to brace yourself for when that darkness comes your way. You end up just taking it too personally, not realizing that that was coming your way anyway, regardless of what you did, because it's just that person. It was that thing's journey. Okay. That's just the way that they operate. Okay. They can't help it sometimes. So with that in mind, what about trying to calm your mind and allow yourself to hear the voice of creativity that is unique to you? I'm sure you will be able to find ways to reconcile your desires with those of others and still favor situations in which everyone wins. Okay. At the very least, seeking this way of valuing yourself and others is the most commendable way to avoid assuming sole responsibility for solving all the conflicts of the world. After all, no one said you were the redemptive hero of the universe, did they? Thanks, Diego. Okay. So at the end of the negative aspect cards, there is a shadow meditation. Okay, so this is a meditation for shadow work, basically. And it says to ask yourself, and I'm going to read this out of the book as if I'm you. Okay. So when I look sincerely at my life deceptions and delusions, how many times could I have protected my heart and feelings by admitting to myself that life is a lonely road instead of an all for one and one for all fantasy? And what will it take from now on so I can stop trying to please everyone around me and put my own interests first? Okay, so that was card one. Woo! I do want to do a little love and light card for you. Okay, I love this. This is my Spirit Song Tarot deck from Paulina Faye. It actually is like Paulina something out, like Paulina Paulson or something. I can't remember. Anyway, so this deck came out. This is like a second edition or something. I don't know. I love this deck. So this is a tarot deck with animal spirit guides. It's so beautiful. I love all the pictures and I love the messages. So let's just take with it what you can, okay? I do a little shuffle. I'm not very good at these, so don't judge if I start dipping down to pick up drop cards. All right, I'm gonna do a 1-card pool for people with card 1. Could be Bloodstone crystal. Like this one come out. 10 of shells. Okay, so 10 of shells, I believe, is the water element for tarot. 10 of shells, 10 of shells. Okay, so blessings and well-being. Okay, let me show you the card. It's so great. So this is the pelican. 10 of shells. Okay. All right, so a consort of good cheer, pelican relaxes by the healing waters of abundance and warms herself beneath the invigorating light of the sun. Savoring each special moment, she takes time to enjoy what life has to offer. Loyal and social, Pelican recognizes the importance of family and friends. She encourages you to embrace your inner happiness and to share in celebration with loved ones. Enjoy the company of those you care about, that you really, truly, actually care about, okay? And the ones who also really, truly care about you. And look forward to many good times ahead filled with pleasure and joy. Okay, keywords here: emotional stability, joy, harmony, blessings, well being, peace, gatherings, communication, gratitude, dreams coming true. All can be yours if you start recognizing that it's not all rainbows and unicorns out there, and you got to take care of yourself. Okay, follow the path that makes the most sense to you. Trust and believe that if it's something that you truly want for yourself, then it's right for you. Okay, all my love. Okay, card number 2. Here we go. Take some better pictures. Okay, card number 2. All right, so this is for the yellow jade. I love this. I love this little thing. My mother-in-law got me a set of planetary crystals. Well, she got it for my kid, but I took it for my kid because my kid doesn't know what the heck. All right. Okay, so planetary crystals. Card number 2. Oh, this one's supposed to be Saturn. Yellow jade, by the way. Okay. So card number 2 is Obara. Or Obata. I don't know. I don't know how to say it. I'm sorry. Okay. So this concept is, if you insist on your price, people will forget your value. And this one, I'm just gonna say, this one kind of goes over my head a little bit. Like, this is a really deep card, so stay with me, okay? Let's just stick through the whole thing and try to absorb what you can. Just ask a prayer of like, please allow me to subconsciously absorb the messages within this card for my highest good within every cell of my being. Amen, and so it is. Okay, number 12. All right, so the negative aspect here, again, a shadow card, right? Like, let's just address and pull out and uncover the shadow self. So the region Orishas here, if you want to look it up, are Oxóssi, Oxóssi, Oshossi, Lugunete, Lugunete, Logunede, and Shango, Shango. So keywords here: lacks initiative, uncompromising, proud, talks too much and doesn't listen to people, naive, trusts too much, tendency to lie and fantasize, tendency to depression, especially due to childhood trauma. Okay. So the influence of Odo Abara and its negative aspect brings out the most puerile nuances of your personality, reinforcing your stubbornness, naivety, and sometimes tyranny when your wishes are not met. All of this, in fact, can be defined in a single word: anxiety. By denying your feelings, you delude yourself into expecting the people around you to keep up. When they're not able to understand your feelings and actions, you get frustrated and flirt with paranoia and depression. As a child in the body of an adult, you tend to hold others accountable for your actions and always expect someone to come to the rescue and solve the problems around you, especially those you caused yourself. So let's go back to this comment real quick. As a child in the body of an adult. Now imagine that for every childhood trauma, right? And we're not talking about like childhood hardships, but childhood trauma, right? So like an event that happened where it created like psychic, spiritual, psychological issues, okay? like an event that happened all of a sudden, that you interpreted as harmful. And I don't want to say interpreted as in like, oh, like you're misinterpreting it. The way that you received that event, I want to validate that for you, okay? Because it's about how you received it. It's not about how the other person meant it, okay? Trauma for you and for all of us, it's relative, but it's also important to recognize that it happened and that for us, it's valid. It doesn't have to be valid for other people. It just has to be valid for us. And that's enough, okay? You don't need other people to recognize. You don't need me to recognize that you were hurt, okay? So I just want to say, like, when we have childhood traumatic events that leave impressions, right, on our soul, on our mind, on our body, it creates this event where when it gets triggered, we go back to that little kid, that child, and we react as that child reacted in that traumatic event, okay? So as a child in the body of an adult, just I know sometimes like these shadow aspect bits can sound insensitive or like they're like almost like making fun, but it's not. Like it's trying to acknowledge that when we're triggered, that like the child comes up in us, like in our bodies as an adult still, okay? And it's like we left pieces of us, of our spirit, of our soul, of our mind in that moment as a child. And so every time we get triggered, we go back to that child again. It's like, I don't know. It's really abstract. I don't know how else to explain it. I'm sorry. We're going to just move on. Okay. So as a child in the body of an adult, you tend to hold others accountable for your actions and always expect someone to come to the rescue and solve those problems around you. So, right, like as a child, we expect to be taken care of because we can't take care of ourselves, right? Like we don't have the maturity, we don't have the like dexterity, we don't have the physical requirements or the cognitive requirements to take care of ourselves the way that we need to be taken care of. And so sometimes when we get triggered, we go back to feeling like that child, even though we're an adult now. And yeah. So so when we're able to recognize that we caused our own problems, we don't tend to seek out external help, right? Like we don't look for external people like to take responsibility for the issues that we know we caused. But for the ones that we caused and we're not quite ready to take responsibility for, that's what this is calling out. Okay. So this is saying now, life is good and should be lived well, but it is necessary to accept that sometimes the demands of adult life will overcome your dreams and desires. And it's time to pay attention to those demands so you can get back on track. As an Odoo linked to wealth and abundance of resources, its negative influence or shadow side indicates lack of control over your finances, often bordering on uncontrollable consumerism. Like any energy source, prosperity can go through times of ebb and flow. And if you don't prepare, you'll end up repeatedly mired in bureaucratic problems, legal disputes, and debts. You can and should dream bigger and bigger, but you must also accept reality and understand that each thing has its time. And usually that's not going to come as fast as you want. Here's the biggest challenge for your inner revolution: to put aside the fantasy and take once and for all responsibility for your actions and decisions, including when you decide not to make any. For everything in life, there is a price to be paid. The reward for taking your life in your own hands is full freedom, and the pleasure of being truly free is far greater than the setbacks fate may bring. So this is interesting because this is like a recurring theme now. So card 1, we were talking about like stagnation from anxiety of not making any decisions and living a chaotic life and like trying to figure out like, why is this happening to me? And now this card is saying like, don't blame other people, right? Like we're making decisions where we're not making any, regardless of the reason of those decisions and the outcome. It's still our responsibility, especially now that we are adults, now that we're able to take care of ourselves and it's not anybody else's responsibility to take care of us. For everything in life, there is a price to be paid. The reward for taking your life into your own hands is full freedom, and the pleasure of being truly free is far greater than the setbacks fate may bring. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like that says everything, that speaks for itself. Okay, so at the end of every shadow meditation, every shadow negative aspect card is a shadow meditation. So here's the Obara's shadow meditation, and I'm going to read it in first person, like I'm you. Okay, so these are some things that you can tell yourself or ask yourself to start doing some shadow work. So considering all life's goals and relationships I'm living now, do I understand the difference between the cost and the value of all the things I do, have, and pursue? And based on the way I present myself to the world, do I offer my price or my value to others? I told you. Okay, all right. Let me read that again, and maybe we'll both understand it better. Okay. Considering all life's goals and relationships I'm living now, do I understand the difference between the cost and the value of all the things I do, have, and pursue? And based on the way I present myself to the world, do I offer my price or my value to others? Okay, so I feel called to talk about cost and I say value or intrinsic value, like extrinsic and intrinsic values, right? Like, so when we have goals, right? I feel like intrinsic value, oh man, I'm jumping around. Okay, intrinsic value is more like, what is the intent of your goals? And extrinsic value is like, what is the goal that you're trying to achieve? So like, I used this for a client the other day. I want a life of abundance and comfort for me and my family, where we don't have to worry about or stress about the bills that come our way and whether or not we can afford to do the things that we want to enjoy. Versus, that's intrinsic, right? That's an intrinsic value. Versus, I want to earn $300,000 a year so that I can afford to do things. Like, yeah, so I think what it's suggesting is to follow the path and make the decisions based on your intrinsic value. Internally, is this something that you care about? Is this something that you value? Are you putting energy toward the things that matter to you and that lead you to the things that you want more of that matter to you? I hope that helps. All right, so shadow aspect, it gets a little heavy, right? It's like, oh, that's stodgy. But now we're gonna do a tarot card pull. Okay, so this is I should card one this, but Spirit Song Tarot by Paulina Faye. These are animal guides using the tarot deck format, but it's more love and light, positive messages. Okay, not to be naive, right? Because we can get it set that there's a shadow side to everything as well as a light side. Okay. And both of them need to be accepted and loved the way that God loves and accepts all things. Because God is ultimate beauty, ultimate love, ultimate creator. Like, if God is in all things and God is all things, he's going to love all things. Because why wouldn't he love himself? Right? The most godlike thing we can do is self-love and create. The ultimate creation is winged babies. So, yeah, God just likes to see all the different ways that he can be manifested. Okay, 2 cards for you. 2 cards kind of flew out. So let's see. So we've got Major Arcana, the Traveler, as represented by the Gazelle, I think. And we have 3 of Shells, as represented by Dolphins. So let's see what those messages are telling us for you today. Okay. So Major Arcana for the Traveler. Oh, that's 0. I've never pulled this one before. As you can see, okay. So yeah, the Gazelle, the Traveler, adventure and potential. Free-spirited Gazelle is the explorer of new paths and the seeker of new adventures. Following his intuition, he bounds gracefully into the unknown. He swiftly changes direction and zigzags to avoid complications. As a result of this ability, he's comfortable in his own vulnerability. Gazelle prompts you to harness your own youthful enthusiasm that will help fuel the way to new experiences and a bright future. At the same time, he wants you to remember to look where you're going. And to look where you're going when leaping into new terrain. With faith and optimism, allow yourself to flow with life. So keywords are a new experience, leap of faith, spontaneity, adventure, potential, freedom, childlike energy. Okay. Childlike energy. Yeah, so as much as we can call upon, right, like childhood trauma without thinking about it, without feeling into it, I think the fun, like childlike energy from when we were little, like the spontaneity, right? The like, everything's so great. Everything's so amazing. I'm so amazing. We had to kind of like pull that up manually a little bit forcibly, but when it starts to flow, it feels so amazing. Okay, 3 of Shells. All right, so the Dolphin, playfulness and bliss. Delivering the medicine of playfulness and bliss. Again, there's not like childhood stuff. Dolphin encourages you to honor your achievements in life. He's here to guide you in nurturing the seeds of life, finding joy in all that is ahead of you. Celebrate with others, sharing good times together and mutual accomplishment. Dance in the waters of good fortune as you tap into the stream of wonderful possibilities. And oh yeah, and I should say, like, because this is a water card, a water element card, this is talking about like abundance and flow and energy, and this is like flow of anything that you want, but we're talking more about like childhood, like play, like get out, go have fun, like be spontaneous, follow your joy, get happy, like, you know, like you can accept these dark sides of yourself, these dark things that happen to you that are affecting you today, but like get out of your own head about it. All right, go have some fun and, you know, work on it, accept it, know it, and acknowledge that it's there, and be aware and love those parts too. Remain grateful for your blessings and nourish your relationship with your emotional growth. I called that out. I didn't read it. Okay. Know that fulfillment is realized through love. Be open to both giving and receiving it and allow it to expand. Celebration, bliss, merriment, emotional growth, community, playfulness, freedom, abundance, victory. All right. Go forth and conquer. Love you. Okay, what time is it? Let's see. All right. I need to text somebody about dinner. Give me one moment. Okay. Moving on. Dun, dun, dun. All right. Card number 3. So you've got my full attention and focus. All right, Tiger's Eye. Here we go. Tiger's Eye. Eye of the Tiger. Okay, another shadow aspect card. Sorry, guys. All right, so this is Agunda. Okay, Agunda aspect is stubbornness only brings unnecessary wars. Look at this guy. Covered up and a cane. Okay. Let's see. So Agunda, stubbornness only brings unnecessary wars. You know, when you're stubborn, you don't allow the flow of energy your way or out, right? Okay. So again, this is a shadow aspect card, and it's a negative aspect in the book, but really it just means that this is like shadow self that we're, avoiding, we're not wanting to accept, or we're reluctant to look at and deal with and process. Okay, so the Regent Orishas, if you want to look this up, Ogun, Ogun, Eshu, Eshu again, there we go, Eshu, and Babaluiye. Sorry. Babaluiye. Again, if you want to call me out and tell me how to pronounce it properly, I'm okay with that. Sorry for butchering it. Okay, keywords here: authoritarian, stubborn, tendency to lie, difficulty in taking responsibility, jealous and possessive, tendency to depression. Okay, so the negative aspect of Odu Agunda will constantly challenge you, and it is not for nothing that at every step you will need to seek strength to continue the journey. That, unfortunately, is the price to pay for deciding to take a lonely path and insisting on doing things your way, even if this way is the longest or the hardest. With so much stubbornness, which you call persistence, you need to be careful that the pioneering business that bursts out of you does not turn into harmful pride, which will lead nowhere. Resistant to admitting you're lost, your natural reaction is to respond to everything and everyone with arrogance and authoritarianism, which needs to be controlled. The warlike force of Odu Agunda imposes on you the need to be right, but you've already passed the point of no return. I am sorry to say that you're the only one to believe that everything is fine. And again, this came up earlier, but Diego, the one who wrote these, his first language is Spanish, but he also, this is written in English. He likes to say, he likes to talk, and he wrote these out like he's right next to you, looking at you and reading, I'm sorry to say that you're the only one who thinks you're right. Okay. You're the only one who thinks everything is fine. As Agunda is the path of truth and righteousness, its reverse influence, which is what we're covering now, does not give you the talent to invent stories and be believed. On the contrary, from the first version of your story, you change to others that don't support each other. On the contrary, from the first version of your story, you change to others that don't support each other. Okay. By trying to deceive others, you only deceive yourself. You will end up being discredited, and when you're truly in pain, even your closest friends will not help you. For this reason, the answer and solution to help to your anguish lies in learning to ask for and accept help. Observe the example of those who have already been where you are today, and listen to the advice of those who care for you. It's better to be safe than sorry. Otherwise, it won't do to repeat your tireless motto, "It wasn't me." Okay, Ogunda's shadow meditation. So this is, right, like a meditation, some things to ask or things to tell yourself to consider on doing shadow work. So I'm going to read this as if I'm you reading it from first person. While no one grows up without struggling, do I have the courage to sincerely face myself and admit that I may be pursuing a lost cause, choosing to suffer instead of realizing that sometimes it's better to retreat. So this is okay, let's see. Path of truth and righteousness. So this is talking about how, like, you're so determined to not look stupid or to not look wrong that you're willing to die. It's a sword you're willing to die on. You're gonna fall on that sword. And it's telling you to just stop, okay? Because you're doing more harm than good. And it's not just harm to yourself, right? Like, you usually think my decisions only affect me, but that's not true. That's a very narcissistic, self-centered way of looking at it. Your decisions affect everybody. Everybody's decisions affect everybody in some sort of way. I wish it didn't. I wish it didn't have to, but it does. And that's just the reality of the situation, right? We're all a collective. We're all in this together. But if you start taking the road of, like, of this stubbornness, of this negative agenda, you're asking for trouble, right? You're asking for struggle and strife. And life doesn't have to be that way. Okay. I truly believe that God only wants for us the best, right? He wants love and light. He wants peace. He wants ease. He wants flow. He wants success. Okay. And then he wants us to share those things with other people, however that may look. And so now you've got to decide, is it more important that I'm right, or is it more important that I'm successful? Is it more important that everyone thinks I'm smart, or is it more important that we take the best road forward? Okay. Start asking yourself, like, do I need to be right? Do I need to be smart because I'm so insecure? Because I realize I'm actually stupid. In a lot of cases, I'm actually wrong. I know it, but I need everybody else to believe I'm not. And no, you're not fooling anybody, not anymore. You do it once or twice, and people kind of wonder, like, oh, maybe, you know. But you keep doing it over and over again, and people are like, okay, I'm not listening to you anymore. I can't trust anything that you say. I can't trust the choices that you make, because you're not willing to accept or hear or collaborate from other people and hear ideas and think and feel like anything other than what comes from you. And I strongly believe that we are all God, right? But we are all just pieces of God, okay? And we are pieces of God looking and working toward wholeness, right? Getting back to, we're not there yet. And so you need to accept that other people might have better ideas, or at the very least, ideas just as good as yours. And so realize that you needing and wanting to be right and needing to hold true to your decisions and not needing to go back because you're afraid it's going to make you look weak or make you look stupid. That's just hurting yourself. I forgot where I was going with this. But anyway, I have one card pull for you from tarot. So this is Spirit Song Tarot. Okay, just in case you skipped ahead. You're probably in FA. This is animal guides in the format of a tarot deck, but the elements are called different things, and I don't know, I just love it. It's just so fun. And if you're the kind of person who got this card, you're probably also the kind of person who doesn't want to stick around for this. But I just want to encourage you to be uncomfortable for a little bit. Okay? Sit in that discomfort, accept it, love it. Okay? This came out for you, Queen of Shells. See, there's one more. Oh. Okay. Actually, all right. Okay. So you got a 3-card pull. I was just trying to do one, but first card got 1 card, second card got 2 cards. You got 3. Look at you. So lucky. All right. So Queen of Shells representing peace and compassion. Okay. And this is a water card, water element. So this is talking about like flow of energy, abundance, prosperity, love, like anything that could come your way or leave is about the flow of that energy, right? Okay, let's see. So the seal, a channeler of love. Seal's heart holds a well of deep wisdom. She moves through life with the gift of her inner voice to keep her balanced in the ebb and flow of emotion. A natural healer, Seal thrives in harmony and peace. Approaching all situations in a diplomatic manner, it is Seal's nature to care for those around her, and she intuitively knows when someone needs comfort. Love drives her actions, and she's come ashore to remind you that joy and pleasure are yours for the taking, just as it is for the giving. Submerge into the waters of emotional integrity and let yourself feel deeply. Feelings born from the pure essence of the heart bring life to yourself and others. Okay, so keywords here are emotional security, peace, compassion, happiness, intuitiveness, comfort, caring, and loyal. So, and I want to say, like, these shadow aspect cards, they kind of feel like shit talking, but really it's saying like, we need to focus on this now. Like, you've been avoiding this and it's been damaging. Okay, it's time to open up to the possibility that we're not all perfect and we all have a dark side, and it's time to start loving and accepting and being in whole with it so that it stops ruining our life. Okay, when we don't focus on the shadow aspect, it keeps coming up in sneaky ways in our life, right? Like we get triggered in different ways. We make subconscious decisions. We attract certain things that we're like, why does this keep coming to me? I hate this. I don't like it. I don't want it. Well, it's because it's inside of you, right? You're recognizing it in other people and in other things, and you're bringing it to yourself subconsciously so that you can deal with it. Okay. So you can process it. And now this is saying, like, even though this is a part of you, you're still very loving, right? You can still be very loyal and caring and determined to take care of the people around you. It's just, you got to do it in a more balanced way. Okay, 6 of Feathers is the next card. Okay, that's the dragonfly. Make sure. Okay. So transition and insight. Message. Dragonfly, the ambassador of change and transcendence, is your guide in rising above illusion into a world of light and healing. Dragonfly urges you to kickstart the changes necessary in order to move forward. Ride the winds of change. Allow yourself to break free from a turbulent past and move into a more positive future as a solution is on the horizon. The process of healing has begun. So believe in yourself. With this reading, it's begun. So believe in yourself and your new sense of purpose. Focus on where you want to be, right? Emotionally, like developmentally, with love, with relationships, with work, with success. Okay. Focus on where you want to be. A new perspective will recharge your vitality. In moving through the mist of change, you will find your true power. Okay. So it's time now it's time to transition. It's healing. You've got motion, like it's moving, right? Like you're ready to move, take action, make decisions, resolution of difficulties, insight. All right. There's that. Okay, and then the next one is another water card. Okay, 2 of shells. Pigeon doves. All right. So there is union and harmony. So the dove. As the keeper of love and devotion, dove enhances deep bonds within a partnership, and she brings blessings of harmony to a relationship. She is in tune with the healing powers of love and embraces the importance of healthy communication. Strong in spirit and pure of heart, dove assists in compassion and mutual respect. She also wants you to remember to work toward loving yourself, all of yourself. Dark side, light side, subconscious, unconscious, childhood trauma shit, like just get it out, heal it, love it, take care of yourself. When you honor yourself with respect, others will respond in kind. For greater emotional balance, the capacity to not only give love, but to receive love will expand within. And let's talk about that word respect a little bit, right? So respecting when we don't know something, respecting when we do know something, respecting when we're not sure, respecting when we're wrong, like by accepting, acknowledging, and being okay with those aspects of yourself, being okay with your mistakes, being okay with knowing that you're right and feeling good about it. People get permission to feel those things about themselves and to feel those things about you too. Okay. So when you disrespect the fact that you're wrong, or when you disrespect that other people might be right, it makes it difficult for them to be able to communicate and have a relationship with you. But when you respect yourself and you respect others, right? Like you come together. Okay. All right. So keywords here: connection, harmony, joy, trust, partnership, friendship, blessings, commitment, and union. And think of this as not just like personal relationships. This isn't just romantic relationships. This is familial. This is friendships. This could be work, business partnerships too. It's working something like personal projects. Yeah, just remember, love and know thyself. Okay. All right. Well, that concludes this reading. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for your time. Thank you for going along this ride with me. I hope that, things resonated. And just let me know in the comments, yay, nay, this sucked, or hey, this was like, this is pretty cool for me. Okay. Love you guys. Bye.